Christoph, you might want to pull the Skype and everything onto a different screen because we can see your screen right now.
Yeah, I just changed it. I think that now you only see because the first screen is the one when there is a slideshow, but
yeah. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I see a few people in your session, and we'll let other people join in as they come in. So hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to this session on how Microsoft could support your Agile project and portfolio management. We did have a few Agile sessions this morning, and I'm very curious to hear what this session will bring to the table. What's the difference? So along with all of you. So without much further ado, Christoph, please take it over.
Thank you. Thanks for joining this session about how could Microsoft support your Agile project and portfolio management. My name is Christoph Delbecq, and I'm working for Trion for a bit more than 7 years right now. And I have a full background of consulting on project and portfolio management tool implementation here in Luxembourg and Belgium and mainly in Europe. As explained, I will just switch off my video during the presentation and then come back to you just at the end of the presentation. The agenda for today will be split in 4 different chapters. First, a really quick introduction about our company, what we are doing, and the purpose of the presentation. Then we just switch off directly to the Agile project management tools that exist on the market and the one provided by Microsoft. An explanation about what does it mean for us hybrid project and portfolio management and when we have to do jump for this kind of approach for methodology. And the last chapter will be more about some case studies on what we have already deployed at customer side and how we go for we can go for unified PPM solutions supporting hybrid methodologies. Quick introduction about Trion. Trion is a European consulting company specialized in all expertise around project and portfolio management, meaning consulting, training, and tool implementation. We are a partner of Microsoft, a gold partner of Microsoft. We are a little bit more than 100 consultants, and then for the key figures, we are already trained more than 25,000 people. And then we have working on more than 250 customers right now. That's mainly the main figures for the company. We just celebrate 2 years ago the 15 years of the company. That now we are quite present on the market since a long time with a lot of expertise and a lot of happy customers. If you look on the market trends about Agile, that's a study done by version 1 this year, but we'll see that some of the figures coming from PMI. The study just highlight that close to 100%, that's 97% of companies say that they already practice Agile methodologies. PMI is a little bit under. It's really depending of type of companies that has been interviewed. But we see that the majority of companies already say that they are doing Agile methodologies or try to apply Agile methodology. They are doing since a couple of years. It's not so hard. Just we see that the average people, average company are doing Agile, are trying to play Agile since 3 or 5 years ago. This means that when we look to the maturity, what they think about the position of Agile methodology in their company, we can see that majority of the company are still under the process of maturing the methodology, and only 4% of this company are enabled to say, okay, we can use really Agile for to be ready on the market as soon as possible and to have a high competency on this market methodology, on the Agile methodology. if you ask the company why they want to go for agile methods and why we want to deploy agile, the first reason is, okay, it's just much easier to adapt based on our priority, based on the strategy of the company, to be more reactive, but also to increase, to be faster on the market, sorry, and to be able to put on the market new products, new features, new solution as soon as possible and prior or other companies. Also enhance customer satisfaction by providing as soon as possible new features asked by the customer, new solutions. The fourth one is they try to apply Agile to enhance the quality of what they provide and make sure that if they have any issues or bugs, they can easily solve it as soon as possible. Increase employee productivity by more focused on production, basically, and more focused on realization than less on management and less on thinking. It's really acting in place of thinking. And also increase the morale of the team by more acting as a team, let people work together, give more, I would say that, give more efficiency on the team, give more management positions to people, give more importance to people that say that, okay, you can own your work, you can do what you think it's best and do it by yourself, work as a team. That's also increase the morale and the team spirit. When we talk about Agile, most of the time we talk about project delivery, but putting agility in organization is not looking to this level. It's not looking to project delivery and operation, but it's also looking to the strategy, the portfolio, and the program. And that's really important for organization when they want to apply Agile. So first, try to simplify also the process at each level of the company, because it's good to say that you deliver a project in Agile methodology, but if it takes you 6 months or 1 year to define your strategy and to basically push back the strategy to the project, it's not really agility. Yes, agility is on each stage of the company and each stage of the project and portfolio management. That's very important. But if you look to the Agile project management methodology, the most common use are Scrum and Kanban. They are probably known by everybody. All this methodology are mainly used for the two first layers, the project team and operations level. That's good, but as explained, that if you are not able to drive this project and to drive this operation, so in agility, then you win a lot. You win sometimes in project delivery, but probably increased time to market is not so efficient. If you want to apply methodology at the full level of the company, then the most common use is a safe one, but you see that there are a lot of process. And if you look on the right-hand side, they are based on Scrum and Kanban solutions for the two first layers, and for the rest one, you have coordinations and other solutions for portfolio and program level, and also the strategy. That's a full and complete project management methodology, Agile project management methodology that you can apply at the company level. What are the main differences if you want to go for Agile methods, if you compare to PPM traditional methods like waterfall, for example? That's clear that if you want for a waterfall, it's predictive planning. It's long term. When you do a planning, you already look at the deadline. You know when you have to deploy. You know each phase. You already try to determine each phase is the workload and everything like that. If you go for Agile solution, it's more adaptive planning. It's short term. That we are talking about sprints, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum. For the scope, we always go for a WBS. For the Agile methodology, more talking about a backlog when we have to pick, depending of the sprints, what we have to do. We estimate efforts for each task in a project management waterfall approach. For the task, we are more talking about value points, and depending of the velocity of the team, we are able to do less or more activity during each sprint. And based also on the experience of the team, we expect that more. Based on different sprints, we will be able to do more and more tasks because we are more and more performant. Project manager coordinates efforts on the waterfall approach. That's more the responsibility for the Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master will not really focus on the effort, but more coordination and make sure that people is doing the right stuff at the right time. and expect that the team increase the performance based on the weeks. Looking more for integration on the other hand side, that we are more talking about integration done by the project manager. On the Agile, the purpose is to provide continuously new solutions, new features, and probably increase the amount of releases, but to be faster also in release management. Now, if you translate these differences more on the tools side, that's the purpose, the purpose of this presentation. On the waterfall, we are more talking about the VBS, but on the Agile, we go for a simplified structure. We want something dynamic. We will be able to add tasks, to take tasks, remove tasks, depending of where we are in the progress. The project manager is the primary user on the PPM waterfall. But on Agile, we expect that all the team is working together, that has complete access to a solution, is able to take ownership on different activities. And another one, it's clearly that the progress information is updated periodically. Does everybody know in the waterfall approach the process of the timesheet that we are doing, for example, every month? On the Agile methodology, we cannot wait every month because sprints is more on the week level. We have to look at, every week. We ask the team to basically complete the progress continuously and not wait at the end of the period. That's the main differences, and that's also an impact on the solution that we provide to the different users, depending where you want to go. Of course, it exists Agile tools since years right now. The first one that has been used is the sticky notes that you put on the board. But why we want to move now on from the sticky notes to a digital solution, and ideally to Microsoft one, it's mainly to enhance the collaboration, because we have to share information, we have to discuss. Of course, we can do it face-to-face, that's very important. But now teams are more decentralized. It's not. It's quite common to have Agile team on different locations in the world, in different buildings. But also with the customer you want to exchange, that is very important to have a digital solution, a platform where people can join, people can share, people can discuss. But that's for the project level. But if you look also at more at the enterprise level, just if you want, for example, for a safe solution, it's also to increase the visibility of different projects that are currently used. Of course, if you have sticky notes on the board has the different place of the building, that's very difficult to have a complete overview on the progress. It's very important to have a platform where the portfolio manager or the enterprise is able to have a complete overview on what's the status on every project, but also to be able to basically allow people from different teams to also interconnect and also share information, share experience. That's very important at the portfolio and the enterprise level. What are the different tools provided by Microsoft for Agile? Planner is the first one. Then we see that there is also an Agile module in Microsoft Project. And the third one will be Visual Studio Team Services, also known as TFS in the past. That's the new solution from Microsoft. If you look to Planner, that's the first very important message from Microsoft sharing this. If you look to the website of Planner, you will see that Planner is mainly used for collaboration, the availability to access to tasks, mobility, that's very important, also for digital solution, resource assignment, follow-up, organization of tasks. That's in the system. That's the purpose of Planner. Planner is a tool available in Office 365 only. That's also important. It's not available on-prem for the moment. Let's jump directly on the demo. Then you will see that how Planner is working. This will take a couple of minutes to explain you how Planner is working. This here I'm on the Office 365 solution. This you are able to see it on Office 365. You see all the solutions that are available here. And I'm on Planner. I'm very sorry, my Planner is in French. It's really depending of my time zone, and I'm not able to change it. But I will do the translation for different titles when I will jump on it. This here, basically, I'm on a plan. Thus, you are able to create different plans in Planner. Thus, if I want to create a new plan, it's very easy. You create here a plan, you give a name, and you are able to make it as public. Everybody in your company is able to access to it, or you can do as a private, and then you can invite one by one people to this plan. I've already created one here that's called Agile Planner. And that's very easy. It's really working like a sticky note. Thus, if you want to create new activity, you just create on the plus, you give a name. So we took it task 1, for example, here. And then you can create another one, task 2. It's very easy. We create only 3 tasks. Task 3. And that's really easy. That's all my tasks now are created. I have 3 tasks, but that's not on a task. It's not only a name. That's if I go into a task, I just click on it. And you see that you have different information. You can, of course, give a description. You can give a bucket. I will show you what happens with the buckets afterwards. Give just an progress, a start date, and then basically a deadline. You can give a description through it. You can also give a list of control. That's basically, it's a kind of sub to-do list. That's subtask 1, for example. It's basically to give a reminder to the different user what they have to do behind this one. You can attach some documents to it, and then you can collaborate to this document. That's very important. Also, you can share. And then people are able to do commenter, just some comments, sorry, just I will put comments, blah, blah, blah. And then basically it's going under here, and then you have basically who has done the comments, and you can create additional comments, just reply to. You see here, that's all the comments. So you have basically the history, you know, when the task has been created by who, and then you have the persons here. Yeah, we see also some colors available. The plan owner is able to create some categories here. You can go up to 6 categories. It's more for graphical purpose. You can hear different categories, and then you can tick the box, and you see that automatically the color happened here on the left, on the right-hand side of the box. You can see also some small icons to see that there are some commands, and then you have some basically subtasks to execute. Now, if you want to create additional categories, you can define what we call buckets. This basically, if you want, for example, to define some different buckets here, I could search as bucket 1, bucket 2, but if you have to develop, for example, an application, you can have here module 1, module 2, module 3, if you define some different modules, or the key users, for example, and then you can drag and drop easily the different tasks to the different buckets. Yeah, and then you can categorize this one by buckets. That's very easy to do. What you can also do is to basically switch the view here. I'm really focused on the categories and what you have to do based on different buckets, but I can also switch to the different categories. Here, basically, you can just basically do it by progress. You see here for the moment, nothing is done for the moment. As I can easily, let's say, for example, the task number 3 is under progress. You see easily that here the small box has changed. If I click on it, I can also say that if I click back on that started, you see that the task is going back to the left-hand side. And if I say to complete, it's going to the right side. You just balance this one, say 1 task not yet started, 1 started, and 1 done. You see directly who has finished the task, myself, of course, here, but also the dates if you want. You can assign people to this group. That's very easy too. You just click on the box on task here, and here you can assign people. Myself, for example, and I will assign my colleague Eric. If the people are not in the list, I have here a shortlist because it's only the people invited in my basically plan. But if I want to have somebody else from the organization, I just type the name, and you see here I have all the people from the organization, and the guy or the lady will receive a mail that he or she is invited to the plan, and then she's invited or invited to collaborate on the task. Thus, you have a view by buckets. You have also a view by progress. You have different views here. You can have a view by who is assigned to. Thus, you see the different person here that has been assigned. You have a graphical overview. You see that for the moment I have only 3 tasks. 2 tasks are remaining to be done. You see the different buckets here, and then you see who's assigned to. I have some here on the right-hand side. 1 task closed for the bucket 1, for the bucket 2. Here available. You have also a planning view. A planning view is only it's a calendar view. Thus, if you put a deadline to a task, you will see the deadlines here in the calendar view. Here I'm working in a single plan, but of course you can be assigned to different plans. That's very important to know that if you are, of course, assigned to different plan, you will be able as a personal user, which are my tasks, as you see here, my tasks. And then the system will just have a look to all the plans, and you see that I'm basically assigned to a lot of activities here on the different plans from my company. But very important, it's basically a planner. It's mainly done for a Kanban approach where you basically have a to-do and then you pick up the task for in progress. Of course, you can do some Scrum approach for that, but then you have to use the buckets for the different sprints. And then it's not so efficient because if you have a lot of sprint, then it's going to the right-hand side. That's we more recommend to use a planner for a Kanban approach. That's it for the demonstration from Planner for the first tool provided by Microsoft regarding Agile solution. Then we go for the next one, Project Online. As most of you probably know already, Microsoft Project 7, Microsoft Project Online for a more waterfall approach. But now since some months, we have also an Agile solution available in Microsoft Project Online. It's very important to know that for the moment, this solution is only available in online and not just on-prem. And then we jump also directly on the demonstration and how it's working. I'm connecting to the Project Online environment, going for the project center to pick up an Agile project that I've already created here. You have an Agile project. If you want to use Agile module, you need to use Microsoft Project Professional. And thus I'm open the plan in Microsoft Project Professional. Just coming. Taking a few seconds to log in. Then I will directly jump in my project. You will see that the project will be empty for the moment, as I haven't created anything. And the purpose of the Agile solution that is available here only, as explained, only in Microsoft Project Professional, connected to Project Online. It's basically here first, you have an Agile, that's the Agile solution here. You click on it, and then the first thing that you have to do is to define you want to go more for a Kanban or for a Scrum approach. I will go for a Scrum here. I click on it, and then you see you have an Agile tool available. The first thing that you have to do is basically manage some sprints. What do you have to do? Basically, first the system defines some sprints based on the finish date, but you can change the date until another one. Define the length of the sprint. I will keep it from scratch here, 2 weeks per sprint, and then I will be able to start. If I want to go for the planning and start to basically define my task, I basically go for the planning board here. And you see that for the moment, I have nothing in my backlog. That's the same as in Planner. I will create some tasks. See, that's very easy to do. If I double click on it, I'm going back on the normal task from Microsoft Project on which I'm able to assign resources and change some additional information through it. And then the same as in Planner, I'm able to say that, okay, that's going here. You see that the progress here. I'm able to show also some progress here for the task. That's very important. If I want to create additional buckets or columns, I'm able to do it. I'm rolling back the one in the backlog. If I want not to assign this backlog to the sprint, that's very also easy to do. It's basically put it back in progress and done. See here, I'm going to the planning sheet, and basically here I'm able to say, okay, I'm able to assign it to the sprint. Yeah, that's the first way to do, but you can also jump to the sprint board if you want to do. Not the right one. Sorry. The current sprint board, you see that in the current sprint board, I have only 2 tasks because I've only assigned 2 tasks to the current sprint. That sounds logical. And then I can switch again to the next step. It's only the Agile solution here provided by Microsoft is, of course, a bit different from Planner. You are not on collaboration here. The project manager has opened the plan and now is able to switch the different tasks to the different activities. But what's very important is that if I'm rolling back to the normal Gantt chart, you see that the tasks are here as basically as a normal task in the plan. That means that if you have assigned people through it to different tasks, you are able to also pick back this information into Microsoft Project Online as a normal user and basically find by the task here in My Task in Microsoft Project. here. Just you are able to find back the task here if you are assigned to. The tasks are normal tasks from a Microsoft project. Thus you are able to do timesheet on it. You are able to see it in My Task to give progress. But only the project manager is able in the plan to create additional tasks to give details to it. That's the difference with Planner. Thus this solution is embedded in Microsoft projects if you are on Project Online, and if you are basically on the here on the specific state for the up to date. Thus you have to be in the subscription product, and you have to be basically on the semi-annual channel targeted or on a monthly targeted. If you are on normal annual channel not targeted, you have to wait probably end of the year to have it on your at the company side. Let's roll back to the presentation and go for the third tool provided by Microsoft. It's the TFS or VSTS. That's mainly a tool developed by Microsoft first for software development, for code management, but it can be also used for different departments if you want to go for Agile. Solution, not the main purpose. I will not go for demonstration, but for some screenshots, because it's a quite advanced solution to demonstrate in a couple of minutes. Let's go for some screenshots. You have also the notion of backlogs that you have also in Planner and Microsoft Project, where you can define different activities here on the right-hand side. You can group by task, subtask, sprints. That's where you see here the sprints. That's a graphical view. That's this solution is embedded on the web. It's not on the client side. You have different boards available. You see that if you have some user that are connected in the Office 365, you can see the picture. You can click on this person and directly chat with this person. That's a Kanban overview of the solution. It's working like other tools, as you can do drag and drop. That's very dynamic. And you can define some sprints with dates. Of course, as normal sprint, you start date, finish dates, and tasks assigned to this one. Here on the right side, that's also important. You also kind of small resource plan when you see the people who, for the next sprints, the availability of person that you see that this person is basically over allocated depending of the remaining work for each task. You have different graphs like the burn-down chart. You can find also this kind of graphs. You can do this kind of graphs in Microsoft Project. I didn't show this one because with 3 tasks it's not so relevant, but in Microsoft Project you have also this kind of reports embedded in the client that's available. The VSTS is really also available to support the full scale Agile framework on different layers. That's from the project realization to the portfolio and the strategy. That's also important. But in terms of portfolio management, we'll see in the future that it's not covering probably all the same reporting needs that you can expect from project management solution, but it can support partially this solution. That's for the second chapter. I see that you are mainly on time. That's you can expect to let the floor for the next session also on time. Let's go for the third chapter. Let's introduce the notion of hybrid project and portfolio management. If you look on the market, we have a lot of success stories for Agile deployment. That's some more known news are Netflix, Google, or Spotify. That's purely Agile, and that's purely success story. But they are also facing some constraints when they try to deploy this Agile solution. First is the corporate culture. That's in most on the enterprise, we have the mindset of waterfall, that we have to do a plan, we have to define deadlines. Everybody at the strategic level, we want to have nice reports when we know the budget of the project, the consumption, the remaining, and this kind of stuff. That's really a corporate mindset. We are also facing some complex architecture in terms of solutions, in terms of IT architecture. That's if you want to deploy a new software in Agile, or if you want to manage issue solving from a system in Agile. If other one are more, I would say, passive way of working in terms of release management, is sometimes difficult to match all the approach. Also, people are most working in teams, but functional teams and not really project teams. That's sometimes difficult if you want to dedicate people to Agile solution. People are not located at the same place, and then we have seen also in the past that deploying agile solution, full agile solution, if you are not face to face, is sometimes difficult. But of course, you have also a lot of solution to exchange online, but it's sometimes difficult for that. Resources are mainly not dedicated. That's very difficult to have for a short notice people completely dedicated to the execution of the project, because people are doing operation, because people are doing different projects at the same time. That's very difficult. Also, business projects, notion of business projects and agile is sometimes confused, because the same, you don't have any plan. It's difficult for business if you say that you don't know, you don't have any deadline, you don't know upfront what will be the scope deployed. That's very difficult. And also the approach of deliverables. Limited availability of customers, that's very important in Agile. The product owner is very important in the Agile successful. And sometimes we see when we are delivering project to customer, it's difficult to have also people dedicated for this position. That's why Gartner has introduced some years ago the notion of bimodal IT, what we call in the future hybrid approach. The purpose is to try to combine the waterfall, or the traditional PPM approach, and the agile, basically to be able to take the best part of each and merge all of this one, and try to match the expectation of everybody in the organization. And it's basically use agile more for solving problem exploration and more using the traditional PPM to be able to give some figures up front to have some prediction. Also, that's very important. If you look how it's now translates to the organization itself, basically we go for a traditional approach to ensure visibility, give information, try to give control to the different layers, and basically use more the agile approach for the lower layers, just program, project, and operations, to basically ensure a faster delivery, be able to give feedback as soon as possible if there are any issues or any delay. Try to engage the customer a little bit more than the traditional approach, and also ensure better collaboration to people and more exchange between different team members and different teams. How Microsoft could support this approach of bimodal or hybrid? It's basically with Project Online for the full layers that we have seen already, that Project Online has an agile module that you can basically support the complete hybrid solution. Or you can go for a more integrated approach, unified approach, by using Project Online and Planner, TFS, Jira, or VSTS, or any other agile solution on the market. Now, if you translate this one on basically more traditional view of the portfolio, this portfolio, you have the different layers, portfolio, programs, and projects. You see that in the organization, more and more, we have this kind of approach where you have some projects that are basically managed on the traditional way with with a standard VBS, with a standard waterfall approach. But you have also some project that's fully agile. That's basically what we mainly see in IT departments. But you have also some specific case where you have some basically merge solution, where you have a traditional approach with some agile work packages. That's also a new vision of the way of working. It's basically you can meet this solution when you have basically a business project, when you have an IT component and the IT department is working agile, but the business want to have a basic a traditional approach of planning. If you focus on this specific case where you have a traditional project and agile work package, the same we use, that's the purpose why we use both of the solution. The traditional is really to ensure visibility, give control to the project manager, but the agile work package are more used for basically go faster and enhance collaboration. And then what we call hybrid project planning approach, and that will be the focus on the next demonstrations. That's we will focus on this specific case where you have a traditional project with an agile work package. Why we have to go for this kind of hybrid PPM model? It's basically the same as agile. We have to ensure a release as soon as possible, thus we are able, if you go for a deployment like that, you will probably have release for example, every 2 sprints, every 3 sprints. That means that you don't have to wait the end of the project to have the complete solution. But on the other side, as you are more for traditional planning on top of you have more predictable cost, you have a schedule, you know the deadline upfront for different phases. The Agile is more used for identify issues and try to solve it as soon as possible. But you can also, with a standard waterfall approach, increase the engagement and transparency to the management and the engagement of the customer, because you are able to give a deadline, you are able to give a cost, you are able to give a budget. The Agile part is more for the enhancement of the collaboration. Expect that the people will more exchange on the project, will more exchange on the realization. And on the side, you are also able to rapidly prototype solution, thus, because you don't have to wait at the end of the project to show something on the customer. You don't have to wait a big release, you have small release, and you can directly show to the customer and potentially change a little bit the orientation of the solution based on the customer feedback. Unfortunately, in reality, if you transpose this approach to project teams, we see that people are not speaking at all the same language, and people are do not have the same expectations of project management. For example, project manager expects to have a visibility, but don't have a visibility, a full visibility if you go for a full Agile. But developers want to work as an Agile method because they think that is more efficient, because they know on what they have to work. They own their own basically their own activities, and they know what they have to do. They are able to control themselves, and they are able to work like that. It's very important that in reality, with the expectations are absolutely not the same in a project management solution deployment, and then you have to take care about that. Here, that's an example of project manager and developers, but we can also do it for portfolio managers and team leaders, for example. You see that the expectations are absolutely not the same. How we be able to basically make people working together in the solution is basically by providing a unified PPM solution, where we are able, in the standard solution, in the complete solution, to basically meet the expectation of both sides on every people involved in the project. And to do that, we propose basically a life cycle. That's an example that we can propose. It's basically, as explained before, it's to do a part of the project only in Agile and keep the rest as a standard waterfall approach. I'd like to say where you have the basic phases, and here you have basically the Agile development done in Agile methodology. But you see that on top of this one, you keep the standard waterfall with a WBS, with basically a schedule, with deadlines, with a budget. But the development teams is able to work as an Agile, and then basically able to give feedback as soon as possible to the project manager. What are basically the objective to have this kind of unified is basically combine the both solution. I will not stay along on this slide. And if you look now to what are the solutions provided by Microsoft to support this hybrid solution, you can also use Project Online, you can use Project Online in Planner, and you can use Project Online with integration with the most advanced Agile solution, which are TFS, Jira, or VSTS. If you go for Project Online, I will go for the demonstration how it's working. If you want to go for an hybrid approach, the same again in Project Online. And then I will open this project. That's my second project here, the hybrid for Microsoft project, and show you how we can go for an hybrid project plan, project execution approach by basically merging a traditional waterfall approach. Oh, that's when we do demonstration that an error is coming. Maybe close this one first and try again. Just some seconds. Sorry for this delay. It's always when you have to do a demonstration that the system is a little bit slow. Let's try again and hope that's working. Oh, shit. You will see in this demonstration, the purpose is basically start from a standard waterfall approach with the common phases. Thus, we see that some phases that are already created. And then basically detail one specific phase under an agile approach with basically a Scrum or Kanban approach for the progress management, and basically to also detail the activities to do for this specific phase. Come on. Otherwise, I will do it from scratch. It's not really a problem. Okay, let's try from scratch. That's not a problem. That's basically you will create a more traditional approach like design, build, integration, and rollout, for example, and project management. Create a more traditional project approach, but you keep it simple like that. Not go so much in the details. So you have more traditional, and you want to say that, okay, this basically build, I will do it more as so put it in yellow as we see it, more as a Scrum or Agile approach. The same as before. First, you have to translate this one and say that I want to do a Scrum, for example, or Kanban. Let's go for Kanban, for example. And then what do you have to do first? It's to mark which one will be an Agile. Thus, I won't want to be Agile for the two first ones, but I want to be Agile for the third one and not for the last one. That's the first purpose. That's how it's working. Not for this one too, sorry. Up. Then what I will start to detail my build approach. And to do that, the same, I will go for the backlog and say that I have to do the task 1, same as before, task 2, and task 3. And then when you do that, you need, as a project manager, more interaction, because you see that all the stuff are here. And then what you can do, you just put it here and then put it on the right-hand side. Of course, you can automate this one if you want. That's a way to do it. And then you can come back to your Kanban backlog, and then you can start like that. That's the purpose here. It's really to say, I will manage part of my job as a waterfall. I have a standard Gantt chart, like here. But part of this one, that's the build one, will be more focused as a traditional approach. And then I will just create the link here again. More as a traditional approach. And then you can do estimations on this task. You can assign resource to it, more as a Kanban approach, more as a Scrum approach, because you see it here. And the same as before, you're able to do as a standard tool. Yes. Purpose is really to detail the project, do a part is a traditional approach and do a part in Agile methodology. And you see that Project Online is working like that at the moment, that the project manager is doing both of the responsibility, does also as a traditional project manager, but also partially as a Scrum Master, because he's managing all these subtasks and all these Agile tasks. Another approach to go for an hybrid solution is to integrate Microsoft Project and Planner. That's a standard integration done by Microsoft. And basically, I will start from the same project, as I'm sure that I will not have any problem again. If I want to do now these design activities, not this build activities, not in Microsoft Project, but I want to use Planner, it's very easy. I just select the task, and in Microsoft Project, you have here able to link to Planner. And just click on it. The system will connect to your account and have a look. And then expect that's working. Oh yeah, sorry. It will not work with this one. I'll open another project here. I expect that this one will work. And basically, we mark a task. I say, okay, this task, I don't want to manage it in Microsoft Project, but I want to send and link it to a Planner plan already available in my organization. Thus, you have to do upfront the creation of this plan in Planner, and then you can attach this plan to the project. And based on that, what you can do is basically delegate the execution of the build. As you see here, I have in the build. So I click again. I click on link on planner. I have a look, and you see I've already created an Agile planner, Microsoft plan for that. I click on it. I need to check out. I want to create the link. That's always like that. Child. Yes. What you just want to do? Maybe it's already done. Let's go for the other one. Yeah, okay, don't want to do. Okay, I have some connection issue, but anyway, you do that, you click on the link, you have a small icon that's coming here, the icon of planner, and basically what you have to do, then you go here, and you go to the plan, and you are able to detail the activity as a normal Microsoft planner. The link for the moment, it's only focused on this one. It's creating basically a physical link between two sides. But for the moment, you don't have any complete integration. That you don't have a rollback. This is not because you give some feedback here. Let's see if I go, for example, here in the graph. I have some tasks that are already done, for example. I can move from one side to the other one. But the progress is not sent back for the moment to the project plan. You still have to do it manually. But there's always the but. If you look to the user void, as Microsoft as a user void platform, people can say, I want to do that. Maybe it's good to integrate. Microsoft already promised that they are looking for deeper integration of Microsoft Project and Microsoft Planner. You can expect that, for example, in the future, you have an integration also in the feedback and the progress. Now, if you look for a Microsoft project and VSTS, the purpose, the same here, I'm not going for a demonstration, but I will just go for a small slide explaining how it can work. You can create a relationship one-to-one, like on the left-hand side here, where basically the project is completely managed in Microsoft VSTS or TFS or Jira, and then basically there is a mirror done with Microsoft Project. But what you can also do, it's working like that, where you're more basically a high-level project planner here, and you have the complete detail in TFS that you don't send back the tasks, the complete list of tasks from one side to another one. That's basically some example of full synchronization. But you can do also what we have done here in Planner in Microsoft Project is basically only define some part of the project that is used as an agile approach. As you have only here, for example, a work package or a deliverable, and this deliverable is managed in the agile solution and development solution, and it's only rolling back or not. You see here, I'm not rolling back the complete list of that. That's a different approach that you can propose as integration to do that. There is no standard because basically you have multiple ways to implement Project Online. You have different ways to implement Jira, and then we have to combine the two approach and the two way, then to find the best approach. That's what for the second side. I will really up a little bit for the last chapter for unified PPM solution and some case studies that we have done already on the market. It's basically how we focus on two case studies, two examples that we did the last year. The first case studies was for HR service provider. The second one was for insurance company, and basically focused on the integration of a complete agile solution as complete development like Jira or TFS, and the integration of Project Server and Project Online. For the case study one, we are talking about HR company in Belgium. The purpose, the situation when we come in the company, they say they want to have Project Online for project management, project and portfolio management, but as you understand, they were already using Jira for IT activities. And the challenge was basically to be able to do a two-way exchange. The expectation from the customer was, say, if I'm creating activity in Project Online, I should have this activity in Jira, but on the other side too, if I'm modifying activity in Jira, I should find back this information in Microsoft Project. We were facing one solution on the cloud and one solution on-prem. That's also a technical challenge. And basically, the way why they expect to do an integration is because they were really impacted by the release dates, and they want to be able, as a project, traditional project, to link my project to the official release dates managed in Jira, for example. The proposed solution for the customer and the one that has been adopted and deployed was basically you were able to initiate activity activity on the both solution. That's not a problem. The solution support this integration, support this specific case. We can initiate activity on the both side. Purpose was to update the backlog of Microsoft project based on the Jira workload, and basically manage the release in Microsoft project and send back to Jira, because they think that it's much better to manage the release in Microsoft project in place of Jira. That's basically the purpose of the customer. How we have deployed, what's the life cycle of the solution is basically, first, the project is planned, either in projects server or in Jira, and the two projects are associated. Then we have somewhere a release plan. Thus the release are planned in Microsoft project, and the release date are sent to Jira. Thus it's very important for the Jira owner, the plan owner in Jira, to know when they have to release the different activities. The progress is managed in Jira. That's basically the purpose of this kind of solution. It's to let the people work together. And then the project is updated based on the feedback coming from Jira and the release dates. We did the complete integration in Microsoft project in the client. This basically, it's the project manager to push or to pull information from one side to the other one, because we think that it's important to not working as an automatic driver. The project manager has to take the ownership of this solution. That's basically, you have to select the dates, you can import, and then the system tell you, okay, if I'm importing, what's the status? You have some indicators, and you apply. Does the system will import information from Jira in the project plan? For the second case study, and that's also an insurance company also in Belgium, sorry. Here the purpose is to integrate Microsoft Product Online and TFS together, and basically use it for IT. The projects that are used in the solution are either IT or non-IT projects. We have also focused on business projects, and they want to use also the notion of team plans. We should come back to this one. Again, here we were focused on two solutions, the cloud and the on-prem. That's also interesting in terms of architecture. And basically what we have proposed here is to use intermediate plan, what we call team plans, to manage the releases and use it in Microsoft project. Initiate all the deliverables and the work packages in Microsoft project, and keep TFS for detailed activities to track and manage the progress of the detailed activities more in agile way, of course, in TFS. And then based on the feedback from TFS, update the project plan in Microsoft project. If you now have a look to the end-to-end overview of the solution, the initiation, all the IDs, but we use also Microsoft project to manage IDs and potential projects. Then when the project is started, we are more in definition phase, when the project manager has to do the plan in Microsoft project. You see that the project manager is defining some deliverables and assigning the deliverables to the different teams. There's 81, 82, you see the different teams here, and different applications, sorry. And then based on the application that you have selected, every application owner has what we call a team plan in Microsoft project, and collect basically automatically the different deliverables that they have to do. And then the application owner receive the different deliverables. You see here project one, deliverable one, that's basically this one, is assigning to a team responsible. Let's see here, that's basically the team responsible. And based on the team responsible is sent back to the TFS. And then the team responsible is able here to detail completely more with work items, tasks, subtasks, sprints, and everything like that here. That's basically the purpose. And of course, the information is sent from the left to the right, but also from the right to the left. That's what I explained as first define sub-deliverables. Then we manage the progress in TFS. Then we update the plan. Basically, the project, the application owner is making sure that everything is good, and then it's sent back to the project manager. The same here, we went for integration in the client. You see here, basically, that's an add-on in the client where we are able to synchronize information. Give the end to the project manager is very important in this kind of integration, to make sure that he's first controlling the information and manage the impact before he's doing an import. Conclusion of all this integration, that's basically we have to use each system. That's probably the future of this kind of integration. Don't try to have a system that's doing everything, but more focus on a solution that can do everything, with the focus on the best, the benefits of each solution. Here in this case, Microsoft Project or Jira, but it can be other systems. Always, that's our opinion, go for more for all local add-ons, synchronize, and do it on demand in place of going for a full complete integration where it's going basically every night, for example, for the integration. The lessons learned of our integration, that's very simple. First, focus on the process before going into the tool. That's very the common lessons learned, I would like to say. Also, I would like to say not transfer everything. That's because not everybody first are going an agile solution. That's also focus, very important, the focus. That's basically, you see some lessons learned here. That's very important also to not transfer everything, focus on the process, make sure that every tool is used for the right stuff. That's probably the main stuff that you have in the mind. For the conclusion of today, I see that mostly on time. If you roll back on what Microsoft can propose a solution, what's the position of every system, the planner is clear for the Kanban. It's really focused on task management. You can do, or you see that you can do some planning because you can put some deadlines, but absolutely not portfolio overview strategy. That's not the purpose of planner. If you go for the right hand side, as you have more the full, I would like to say the full option solution, that's Project Online Planner, Project Online VSTS. Well, basically you can focus on everything. But it's also depending what you want to do, of course, as a solution. What do you want to do with the solution? Then you have to put your mouse on the right position, depending on what you have to do. But you see that with the solution from Microsoft, you can go for some simple Kanban approach to full Scrum hybrid solution. That's basically what Microsoft can propose for the moment in the panel. Key success factor, I will go to the end. It's basically your key success factor, but basically for me what's the most important is define a governance model before you go for the solution itself. Just first make sure that everybody knows what he has to do, what will be the responsibility of everybody in the company, what will be the different roles, and then you can define the solution according to this one. And that's the end. I see that it's here locally 7:01, thus we are mostly on time. Thanks for joining this session and hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any question regarding the session, I know that we do not have the right time for the moment, but do not hesitate to contacting on LinkedIn or via the website from Treon. There is a mailbox for that. And really thank you. And I would like to finish my presentation by this a big thanks to the sponsor that make this 24 hours a success, I hope, and make this one ready. Basically, I know that it's a huge effort for the owner of Project Virtual Conference, and I can say that they did that pretty well with a lot of communication. It was really interesting for us to be part of this journey, and I hope to talk to you soon and maybe the next 24 hours Project Virtual Conference. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, Christoph, thank you very much for this session. Let's see if there are any questions. Okay.
I see who is the third person. It's a lady from my company in the panelist.
Okay.
That's yeah, I don't think that there are any question, but I see that you are mostly on time. That's it's 7 o'clock, or you have to jump on the next session. I think it's a long day for you.
Yes, it is. Well, that's the spirit of it. So
yeah.
Awesome. So thank you very much for the session. So we will post the session to view on demand, and if there are any questions, if we have people asking, then they can directly contact you.
Thank you. Many thanks. I would like really to thank you to all you organized. That's the first time that we participate. The last two ones we were basically more as attendees. That was already awesome. But that's for me that's a very nice initiative, I would like to say. And I'm impressed that as a sponsor you don't have Microsoft.